everyone, and welcome back to Hytale. Today we're making some big upgrades to our base by building the ultimate cozy farm. So get your tools and plaid farming shirt ready because we have lots of work to do today. So one thing I noticed I was struggling with in the last episode was food and regen. I mean, I had only made a campfire last episode for the first time ever, and I was pretty much only eating the cooked wild meat. And as you may remember from last episode, I was definitely struggling against some of the mobs. So since we have all of the armor that we need, I think getting better food to help us out on our adventures would be a big step up. And let's be real, I kind of just want to wear this plaid shirt and make a cozy farmland because it's like my favorite thing ever. And also this fit kind of looks really cool. So if we're focusing on food and farmland, there's one new bench that we need to make today, and that's the chef's stove. So this is a built-in kitchen that can be used to make advanced dishes. Now, I've got like nowhere to put this right now, so I think I'm just gonna put this in one of our classic little spots right here, and let's see what we can make. All right, the options already look better actually. We've got the options to make fruit skewers, meat skewers, vegetables. We can make popcorn? Are you for real? Okay, so we have an ingredients tab over here as well, and I'm assuming that will help us make other dishes. This looks pretty cool. Also, the fact that I can eat popcorn in this world, yeah, this is pretty sweet. Did that give me an effect other than just being purely delicious? I'm not sure, but I'm also not mad about it. So since we have a new table, we're obviously gonna have to build, a new house. And I was thinking that the perfect spot for the farmland would be right in between our starter home and our blacksmith. So I'm picturing a farmhouse right in the middle somewhere around here, surrounded by a bunch of different little crop fields. Now, in order to build our farmland in this area, we're gonna have a lot of terraforming to do because this area is pretty uneven. And of course, the first thing that we need to do is focus on chopping down some of these trees as well. Alrighty, the trees have been cleared from this area and we've got a really good amount of space to work with. However, there is going to be a lot of terraforming that we've got to do. So I know I definitely want the farmland to rest one block higher than our starter house and blacksmith. And just to add a little bit more variance to the terrain, I think I want the house to rest one block higher than the farmland. So that would mean we have a lot of terrain that we're going to have to take away, because we're going to have to strip this area back a little bit, get rid of this big patch, and then probably bring some grass back into here. Another thing that I am going to have to consider while terraforming this is I actually might have to end up digging up some of this dirt to bring the grass back as well, because unfortunately grass does not spread in this game yet, but that's a problem we'll worry about a bit later. So I'm going to chip away on terraforming this area and then we'll check back in a bit. Alrighty, so I managed to clear off a big portion and terraform all of this area. Now I'm going to be leaving all of this dirt here just because there's no point in replacing it until we get all of the crops in, but I think I'm going to get rid of this stone and flatten some of this area out with some grass. Now if we're going to do that, we need to go over to the farmer's bench and we need to make some grass. So it's a pretty easy recipe. It's just plant fiber and soil, which we have tons of. So let's craft up a bunch of these blocks. And also, if you're noticing this crossbow and these daggers in my hotbar, that's because we streamed the other day and chat told me to try out the daggers and they are so good. Same with the crossbow. This thing is very powerful. If any of you are interested in seeing what adventures we got up to, you can find the VOD in the live tab. All right, let's start getting some of this stone replaced. This patch is all filled in and ready to go. So then the last thing we need to do is fill in this area back here. Okay, so I managed to flatten out this whole area and I think this is looking so much better. Now, unfortunately, I did run out of grass and I couldn't even make any more because it required a lot of plant fiber, so I had to get back to using the dirt. I honestly really hope that they make grass spread a thing soon, because having to rip everything up to replace it with grass is very tedious. And the grass recipe, although it's easy to obtain plant fiber, it's kind of expensive. Like, you rip through a lot of it. So in the meantime, we'll deal with the dirt until we get the build in place, and then we could replace everything around it. So now that we have our space cleared out and ready to go, I think the first thing I'd like to do is start plotting where all of these crops are gonna go. And I think it's best to start by making some fencing that will go around each crop field. So let's go with the hardwood fence. All right, let's get rid of some of this stuff because we're gonna start in this corner. Whoa, definitely getting stuck in this mud. All right, this has gotta go too. All right, that's all cleared up. So let's start things off by getting our plots in place. Now, I think I'm gonna go with the style similar to how I've done my cozy farmland in Minecraft. And that's by drawing out little square patches of crops. I think what I'm gonna do is go 7 by 7. So for the next one, I'm gonna leave a 3-block space in between for a path. And I'm gonna do the same size plot. Yeah, this is looking perfect. Now we just need a couple more in front of these and then we're good to go. All right, so I've got 4 plots laid out so far. So we've got our 3-block gap pathing over here. And I think what I'm gonna do is divide up the crop fields into 2 spaces with a larger path leading to the house. So basically what we're gonna do is just repeat the same types of crop fields on the other side of where this big path is gonna be. And there we go, we've got all of the plots in place. Now, before we get started on planting anything, I think I just want to knock out a couple sections here and there for some gates. So I'm thinking we can access them from the middle paths like this. Then we just pop in a gate right here. And I think that's looking good. And then for the ones on the corners, we'll put them along the path this way. Or actually, maybe they should all just be along the same path. I feel like that makes more sense. There we go, that makes much more sense. So with these plots in place, I feel like the next thing we should do is probably actually plant the crops. I feel like they're gonna need some time to grow, so we should definitely plant them earlier. Now, I've got a bunch of seeds from exploring and stuff, but I'm wondering, is there anything that I'm missing? We could probably use some more carrots, corn for sure, maybe a bit more wheat, and all of these other ones are locked. I'm wondering. I mean, if we plant some carrots and harvest them, we'll be able to upgrade our bench and get more access to seeds. So I think it's definitely worth doing that. So for our first patch, let's start planting some carrots. And wow, yeah, I miscalculated. I'm gonna need more. The thing that we also need to keep in mind is that we actually need a lot of essence of life in order to craft these. So we might have to do quite a bit of farming in between so we can actually fill out all of these plots. Now, I'm wondering if it would be beneficial to make this watering can. Watered crops grow 2.5 times faster. That definitely seems beneficial to me, especially because we're gonna have to grab a lot of essence of life. All right, this is pretty simple. All we had to do was grab the water from the river, and then we just start watering our crops. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave these ones for now and continue filling in the rest of these plots. So we'll put a little bit of wheat here. And then maybe on the other side over here, we'll go with some corn. Also, one thing I noticed with the gates that I'm not a huge fan of is that it will actually break the crop right here if it's grown. So we're gonna have to just put like a patch of decorative dirt or something right there. Or honestly, maybe we just end up leaving it blank like that. Although I don't know, it just doesn't look the same without the gate. Let me know in the comments what you like better. Gate or no gate? All right, just a couple more patches to fill in with the seeds and then we're good to go. So we've got all of the seeds at our disposal planted. So I think what I'm gonna do is let all of this stuff grow and then we'll harvest the carrots so we can upgrade our bench. Now this process might take a while, so I'll be back with an update in a bit. Okay, wait, update. I just realized that you can make essence of life from the crops that you harvest as well. So let's craft a bunch from the wheat that we've been collecting and then we're able to craft more seeds. Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. And also, while we were doing that, I noticed that my carrots are all ready to go. So let's grab some of these as well. So we've got enough carrots. Now I need something called the greater essence of life, which is an equivalent to 100 essences of life. And you can craft that here. So we're gonna make one of those. And then we are gonna upgrade this bench. So that gave us, oh wow. I really thought it would do more. I'm not gonna lie. We did get turnip seeds, so that's good. But I did genuinely think we would get a couple more than that. That's okay though. Maybe we can upgrade this a little bit later on while we're working on our house. For now, I'm gonna take these turnip seeds and plant them right over here. So now I think I'm gonna go back to harvesting crops to get essence of life. And I think what I'm gonna do is honestly probably run around a little bit and try to find some crops here and there. Because if we pick these up, we get the wheat and we get the essence of life. So we'll be able to convert a lot of this as well. Okay, I had a good frolic around these forests and fields, and I have gathered up so much essence of life, it is unreal. First, what I'm gonna do is convert all of the crops that I gathered into essence as well. because that'll give us more. And we can't convert the pumpkins yet, but that's okay. So with all of this essence, I'm going to craft up a bunch more turnips so we can upgrade this bench, and a couple more other seeds as well. Ooh, some of our crops have grown already. Perfect. Okay, I managed to gather up a lettuce seed bag eternal. It's uncommon and it grows lettuce. What does that mean? Does it just mean that it just like constantly regrows it without it going away? Because that would be kind of sweet. So I would say we've made some pretty good progress on this farmland so far. I mean, it still looks like really sad, but we are starting to gather up enough crops here and there to fully fill out this farmland. So I think now that we've got more of a steady supply, we can begin focusing on other aspects of this farm. And I'm kind of thinking we should probably get started on building up this house. So I do want to give a little bit of extra space because a couple more crop fields up here could look nice. So I think we start by building it a little bit further back here. All right, so I didn't want it necessarily to be dead center through this pathway, but I did want it to be in the middle, and I think that's looking great for the placement. So now that I'm happy with the footprint, I'm just gonna build up the walls of the first floor. Okay, walls are all done, and I think that height is perfect. Now we can add in things like a little entryway here, pop out some windows right here, and maybe a couple on this side as well. Now I think I want to build a stairway that leads all the way up and around to the second floor, but we'll worry about that part afterwards. I'm curious, what's it looking like from the pathway over here? Yeah, I think this is gonna look so cozy when it's done. So next up, let's get our second floor in place. I think I'm gonna make the front and back walls come out by 1 block. So in order to do that, I'm simply just gonna place a couple stairs along the edges here, and then build up the beams from there. And I really wanna have a little bit of extra height on this build, so I think I'm gonna build the second floor up by 7 blocks. Alrighty, I think this is a good, solid foundation we have so far. The one thing I wanna change with the beams though, is I think we should have one running across like this. Yeah, adding in the bottom beam was a good idea, I think. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do is place some flooring on the second floor, so I can more easily build up the walls. Huh. Not a bad view from up here at all. This is nice. All right, so I think the next thing I'm gonna do is start filling in some of these walls. So I'm gonna go for the light wood planks, but I'm gonna put a little decorative trim along the bottom. And while we're at it, let's get a couple more beams in place just to break up the walls a bit more. So with the trims and beams all in place, all we have to do is fill the rest in with these regular planks. And then finally, we'll close all of this off with a beam running across. Alrighty, I think we're cooking with this build. This is looking really good. So we're making some good progress on this farmhouse. Now next up, I think it's time for us to finally get a roof on this thing. And I'm definitely gonna stick with the orange roof for this build. There's just something about it that feels like it fits the farming vibes perfectly. So for this roof, I'm gonna go with a really steep peak at the top. And now with all the roof lines in place and ready to go, I just have to fill in the center. This is a pretty big build, so this is a lot of roof to fill in. I'll check back up when it's all done. All right, everything's all filled in except for the very top of the roof. And I think this time around, I'd like to try those flat roof pieces that connect the roofs at the top. I do love using the beams, but I think this gives more farming vibes. I am loving how this is coming along. So the very last thing I want to add before we start decorating is the staircase that's going to wind up to the second floor. So we'll just pop in some stairs going up like this, flatten it out a bit in the corner, and then wind our way back up. So that means the doorway's gonna be right here. Yeah, that just brings in a nice little extra bit of shape to the side of the house here. Yeah, this is coming along so nicely. Now comes the super fun part, which is decorating, and I am very excited for this because I think adding details to this build is gonna make it look so good. So I'm gonna start by getting some of the simple details in place like windows and doors. You know what? I think I'm gonna swap out the stairs on the side here for some full blocks. Because that way we could get a railing going along the sides like this. And of course we'll pop in some planters around the windows. Except this time I think I'm gonna use ladders around the leaves. Somebody suggested I do that because they don't float out too far away from the leaves, and I actually think it looks so much better. And I'm kind of bouncing around all over the place, but let's add in some crop fields beside the house as well. All right, this is looking good. We still have some detailing left to do on the build, but I think what I want to focus on next, because it's really distracting, is I want to convert some of this dirt into grass. Oh, we should probably draw out some of our pathing too. So pretty much for our main path leading up to the farm, I'm gonna go with stone and cobble. And then as for the side paths, I'm wondering if there's like a nice dirt block that we could use. There are a couple cool different types of soil and stuff that we could experiment with. I'm just gonna need some more plant fiber. Oh, also, I just realized, while I was farming away, I managed to grab enough crops so we can upgrade this bench again. There we go, we're able to convert some other crops into essence. Oh, we've got a couple more saplings too, that's perfect, because I definitely wanted to get a little bit of a tree line going behind our builds. So yeah, I think the first thing I'm gonna have to do in order to progress and be able to actually build out some of this pathing and stuff is grab more plant fiber. Now, I did read that breaking leaves with your hands actually yields the most plant fiber. Oh yeah, that actually gives you quite a bit. So I think what I'm gonna do is just spend some time punching trees to grab as much as I can. So I managed to grab a ton of plant fiber. I think punching the leaves on the trees is definitely the way to go. So let's craft up a bunch more grass. There we go. Okay, that gave us a lot. I think we definitely solved our problem here. So I'm gonna chip away on converting some of this dirt back into grass, and then we'll check back in a little bit to see the progress. Alrighty, I have been hard at work decorating, and boy oh boy, this is looking good. So I filled in the main path with all the cobble and stone, and I think it looks good. I actually did end up leaving some dirt spots here and there just because it makes sense to have around farmland. And then of course I decorated it with all of these clovers and stuff on the sides. And as for the house, I just added a ton of foliage. I also added a storage pile here, but I think there's still a little bit more work to be done with the house. Like, for example, we still need a path running towards these pieces of farmland and some other details probably on the roof of the house. So I'm just gonna keep chipping away and adding details. The grass around this area do be looking really flat, so we definitely need some foliage around here. Then we'll bring in some of these clovers along the side of the path here and bring back a little bit of the dirt around the edges. Okay, yeah, bringing back all of this greenery has done wonders to this area. Definitely feels like this farmhouse has been here a very long time. So with all of that in place, one of the last things I think we need to do for building in this area is set out a path along these crop fields. Now, what is the vibe for this? I wanted to know what this soil pathway looked like. It looks like it might be kind of close to dirt, but let's see. Ooh, actually, that's kind of nice. Yeah, I think that's definitely the vibe. So I'm just gonna pop a bunch of this in amongst all of the dirt and grass, and then it should be good to go. All right, the pathing's all in, and I think this is looking really good. In between making all of this, I also took the time to add a little chimney and dormer as well. So I would say the house is all done as well. Now, I have 2 more crop patches to fill in, because I ended up filling these ones in with, I think carrots? And maybe some cauliflower, but I ended up leaving these 2 empty. And that's because in our last upgrade, we unlocked eggplant and pumpkins. So I figured we should probably craft a couple of those as well. After I harvest some crops for essence, of course. So let's also craft some of these vegetables into essence of life, and we've got tons to work with. So I'm gonna buy up a bunch more seeds. First, we'll replant some of the ones that we took. And now let's get these new seeds planted. So we'll get some eggplant over here, and we'll get a little pumpkin patch right here. So hopefully these grow soon so we can harvest them, because I think if we get enough, we should be able to upgrade the bench again. Yeah, we need quite a few of each, but it would be nice to get started on this. Now we're not done yet, because the very last thing that we need to do is decorate some of our interiors. Now I might leave this downstairs empty for now, and we'll work on this during a stream, because I kind of wanted to focus on building like a kitchen space upstairs. Now this area is massive. We have so much room to work with, and I've got to be honest, I'm not great at building in Hytale just yet. There's still a lot that I'm figuring out, and also a lot of blocks that I don't really have access to, but I think we can still make this space look cozy. So I think what I'm going to do is start by making a little dining area. So we'll place a little table down with some chairs, maybe get a couple mugs on the table. I think maybe a wardrobe, kind of like a kitchen cabinet, would look nice. Get rid of these torches and maybe add in a couple shelves. Now the question is, can I put candles on this? I don't think I can, but I can put one on the table, which is perfect. We'll get one of these little things in the corner here because they're super cute. And I also found this like giant chandelier. I wonder if this would look good anywhere. Let's see. Ooh, that's nice lighting. I like that. Also, if I place shelving like this, could I potentially rest like a book on top? You can. Okay. I don't think you can put them in these shelves. I don't know what these are for exactly, but these wooden platforms seem to work a lot better. There we go. That looks cool. Honestly, I would say that this is already a step up from what I've made before, so I'm really excited about this. I think in this corner for now, since we don't really have any other furniture, I'm gonna do like a little lounge area. Maybe we'll put like a little chest between or something. I don't know. And we could put like a little shelf here again. Get one of these lanterns on top. I would like some type of rug here or something, but I've got to be so honest, I don't even know how to make that. So I think that's kind of off the table for now. Unless, hear me out. Maybe what we should do is go steal stuff. Take a little adventure, you know, maybe take some items. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Hello, it is me. I am here to take your stuff. Okay, so I found this giant village the other day and I didn't even know it existed, if I'm honest. And turns out it was literally beside this temple the whole time. And boy, oh boy, they've got some cute stuff here, like this little bucket. That would be nice. A couple more of these lanterns, maybe. Some rope, perhaps. Look at these little seats. They're so cute. Hi. Yep. The only issue is that they are so adorable, so I feel bad kind of taking their stuff. But at the same time, they've got good stuff, so I'm a little conflicted here. Okay, yeah, like look at this little like wardrobe. This thing's sick. Their windows are also really cool. They've also got like these really nice frames as well, so I think I'm gonna take a couple of those. And I'm just kind of observing here. If they're placing apples and pine cones down, does that mean we can do the same? It does. Oh, this changes everything. Okay. So I think I've sufficiently stolen enough stuff. I don't want to take everything from this village because I just don't want to tear the whole thing down. I'll leave some stuff for them, but hey, I think I'm borrowing a fair amount. So we are back at home with all of our stolen goods. Now, I think I'm just gonna like place the bucket here. I think it would also be cute if maybe we like have a couple little pumpkins laying around as well. Yeah, that's adorable. And then as for the interior, can I place an apple on this? Okay, I still don't know what these are for. However, I can put an apple on a different shelf, so that's cool. Put a little statue there. Maybe get a couple of these little item frames here and there as well. And then last but not least, we need the most important thing of all. The reason why we built this farmland. We need our chef stove. So I think I'm just gonna place this right around here. And then beside it, I'm gonna put these lumberjack fences because it kind of looks like firewood. All right, so I think given all of the items that I have, this is probably as much as we can do for this space. Now, there are still a lot of empty spaces, like I would love to eventually fill all of this out more, but I think given what we had at our disposal, I actually really like it. Like, I think this little lounge area is really cute. I really love the dining area. It's really just this corner that needs a little bit of work, but overall, I would say that this space is really cute. Now, there's one final thing that we need to do, and it is the entire buildup of this episode. We need to cook some food. So I say we grab a couple of our little vegetables and get ourselves a proper meal. We'll grab a little bit of this lettuce, maybe some cauliflower. How about a couple of carrots? So let's throw this into the chef stove and we can make ourselves some vegetable skewers. Nice. Gonna make a couple of those. Now I want to make a salad too. Okay, we need some mushrooms. Okay, we need some mushrooms and a little bit more lettuce. That is absolutely easy for us to do. Mushies. I need mushies. Ah, here's some. All right, let's see if we can craft up a nice salad. Yes, we can. All right, we've got ourselves some fancy food. I'm very excited about this. It seems like there are still some unknown recipes. I don't know if that's coming with a later update, but I feel like this will probably help a lot more with our saturation levels. Like a mushroom salad instantly restores 10% health and grants health regen and stamina boost. And it seems like the vegetable skewer does the same. Now, I need to test this. I'm gonna take a little bit of fall damage and see what happens. Whee! Ow. All right, let's eat this salad. Oh, that is already so much better than the other food I was eating. That gave me health so much quicker, and it seems to be regenerating it a lot faster as well. Yup. I'm happy with this. Very, very happy. This is gonna make adventuring so much easier. All right, well, we set out on the quest to build cozy farmland today, and I really think we succeeded. This area turned out super cute, and I'm so happy with it. But also, we now have upgraded food at our disposal, which will help so much with adventuring. So I think with all of this, that's probably gonna be it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this one. And of course, please remember to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel. So with all of that, I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye!